was requested by Casey to talk about why property in Metaverse, and I wanted to just change that word property into why real estate in Metaverse. And I know some of you might already try to figure this out, why I purposely wanted to use the word real estate in Metaverse, because that's where we're going to go in. So if you ask me why real estate in Metaverse, my answer is another question. Why not? Why not real estate in Metaverse? So I don't know, some of you are a little bit more advanced and, you know, the early adopters. So we are maybe a little bit more easy to understand and comprehend, to accept new concepts and ideas and opportunities. But some of us might be on the lagging side, and there's nothing wrong with that. So tonight we just want to present to you something that would entice you, something that would ignite your curiosity and would maybe, you know, set you on a path of discovering real amazing opportunities in investments in the Metaverse. Okay, so now I was just thinking about this question, right? And when I was thinking about it, so okay, why real estate in Metaverse? So why not? And another question that popped up in my mind, is real estate in Metaverse real? I wanna ask you guys, right? Okay, if you guys say real estate in Metaverse is real, type A for Ahyat. If you guys say nah, I don't think real estate in Metaverse is real, I don't think so, type B. Can I just see who are we dealing with? Okay, I see A, Nick Tan, I see that one. Chiu King, I like that. B. I love it. Okay. Lim Chi says B. Ka Huat Lee says B. Paul Chen, I love that. A and B. I mean, that's the same answer. Zulkifli, cakap apa tu? B. Morgan cakap A, B. All right. Abu Gabal said B. So, I like Steve. Steve said C. Steve is the most creative of the lot. Okay, Brian Lee. So there's a good mix of you who says A and B. Now, tonight I want to challenge you. The question is, what is real, right? So the question is, what is real to you? What is real in this world? And if we want to understand Metaverse, we want to understand whatever that we want to understand with the technology, blockchain, and whatever products that it has created. So we have to ask ourselves, what is real, right? And is the world that we live in real? So this is a very, very deep question. And for some of us might feel like, hey, this is such a lame question. Of course, the world that we live in is real, but that's your version of the world, because we've got the blue pill or the red pill. So you don't know which is real, brothers and sisters. Which is real? Is this life real? And the reality is everyone sees a different version of the world. So what somebody sees as real, we cannot say it's not real. Somebody might be fearful of something, but we are not fearful of that thing. So we can't say that, hey, you know what? That the fear that you have is not real, because the fear that somebody has is real to him. Everyone understands a different version of the world, and everybody sees a different angle. I mean, some people might feel, hey, you know what? It's okay. Russia can do whatever they want. Some people say, hey, you know what? This is the free and democratic world. It's a total invasion. In any side of the story, somebody sees it differently. So how can we say it's wrong? How can we say something is not real, right? So, and I just want to say something then, for you to understand, are we really living in the real world, or are you living in the real world? Are you living in the real world, or are you living in the real world? So which one's real? The world that you wake up to, that you have to shower, that you have to eat, you have to go to work, you come back to work, or the world that you update and like and share and comment? I mean, some of us feel that we're not even living in the world right now. We are living in social media, right? So I want to talk to you guys about a couple of things. I want to talk to you about my daughter. My daughter used to play Roblox, and some of you who have kids, I mean, they're crazy about Roblox. And one of the most legendary games of all times in Roblox, and I guess they have the most players, right? Is Adopt Me, and some of you know Adopt Me. Anybody knows Adopt Me? Can you type what? Can you type uh, 5? Can you type 5? Okay, 5. Okay, you guys know Adopt Me, right? My son knows, Alex. So all right, so all parents know, and it costs you Robux, right? I know, Evelyn, because if you talk to a kid who's playing Roblox, I mean, this is their metaverse, brothers and sisters. You know, they can buy homes, they can buy luxury apartments, they can buy bungalows, they can buy cars, they can buy stuff, they can buy pets, they can buy skins. That world that they live in is real. If somebody unfriended them in this metaverse, I mean, they would be totally, I mean, they will be totally destroyed, right? They will be so sad, they will be crying. I mean, if somebody stole their pet, because there's a lot of scammers, I mean, it's like losing a real pet. So what is real? So this is the question, and we're gonna, and my duty for you for this program tonight is just to challenge you on what is real, and then the rest of the amazing brothers and sisters tonight are gonna take it over, and you're gonna explain the more technical and detailed stuff of what we're discussing today. So, okay, so there's going to be 3 words that I want to invite you to understand, right? So I want to compare real estate in the real world and real estate in metaverse. I know it's wrong to say that, because who says land in metaverse is not real, right? From the simple introduction that I just did just now. Okay, so the first thing that I want to talk about is value. And in real estate investment, we always understand there's a big difference between price and value, right? So if you do not already understand there's a difference between price and value, please do not invest in property. Please do not invest in anything, because you don't even understand the fundamental difference between price and value. And you know, value is just something so crazy, right? So why is a single digit number plate so valuable? It should be cheaper because it takes less numbers to put on a number plate. So if you go to an accessory shop, it should cost less. But a single digit number plate, if at all you can purchase it, it is worth maybe 100,000 ringgit. But you know, in Malaysia, you cannot even buy it if you're not of a certain segment of the population, right? So we have to understand value. And I just want to show you a picture. And it might strike you immediately, but it might not. But soon it might, after this, before you sleep, and you'll be thinking about it. And I want to show you a picture, and I want to see if you understand value, right? Okay, so this is an IG screenshot of Bill Gates. So is this valuable to you? Is this valuable? What makes it valuable? What makes this screenshot valuable? Can you share in the Zoom chat? Okay. So what makes it valuable? So the number of followers that's following, the blue tick. Do you guys see the blue tick? What is a blue tick? What makes it so valuable? Why do people chase after that blue tick? Does it mean something? It does mean a lot of things, right? And like for kids who are playing Roblox, right? This is valuable to them. The skins, they pay Robux. But this is not in the real world. This is in a metaverse to someone who feels that it is real, right? So let's look at land. Let's look at land. So land is real estate, right? Land, property, you can see their house on that land, right? But then again, what's the difference between this land, right? If you talk about value, and I'm going to introduce the second word before I bring in the real technical stories of metaverse, right? So the second word I want to talk to you guys about is scarcity. And that's what creates the value in land, in property, in the metaverse, scarcity. So this is a very powerful fundamental knowledge for you to understand investment decisions in the metaverse. And the third word that I want to talk to you guys about is footfall. The third word I want to talk to you guys about is footfall. Now, in the real world, this is going to be very, very good. This is going to be very, very good. For commercial property, for land, you want to drive footfall. Why? Because it drives up demand. It drives up, you know, the business profitability. And similarly, in the metaverse, we need to drive footfall to create value as well. So this is what drives footfall. Can you imagine concerts in the metaverse? We've got other activities as well. So these are the three words that I wanted to talk about to start off the day for you to understand property, real estate in the metaverse as an introduction to what we're going to talk to you guys about tonight. Was that okay? So this is something just to whet your appetite and get you really excited and try to understand, hey, we're going to talk about investing in property in metaverse and property in metaverse in general, or metaverse just for a concept for us to grasp. So I just want to say thank you again to KCC for allowing me this, giving me this duty to start off the day. Why real estate in metaverse? It's not something easy for me to talk about, but that's it. That's a good start. And let's take on the day. I give the floor back to my Sifu, KCC. Thank you. KC, you're muted.
Thank you very much, Ayat. Thank you very much for a very exciting introduction to the whole mystery of the metaverse. Very conceptual, but we're going to get down to brass tacks in a short while. Yeah, let me thank you. Let's give a big hand to Ayat Ishak, right, for a quick intro. He is the man in property, and when it comes to property area, that's the guy you want him to talk about, to come in and share. Now I'm going to go into the next part of it, which is getting down to all those questions that some of you are very eager to ask, and to help address this area, we're going to have like a duet afterwards. Two persons is going to be talking, starting with one and then the other, and both of them have immense experience in this area, not just in the area of IT, social media, but in games as well. The first person is probably the most experienced person to speak on metaverse, as far as I'm concerned, in this part of the world. Why? Because of a unique blend of 20 years experience in the field of technology, consultant, and initiated the first ever Xbox and PlayStation game development in Malaysia. The first person to do the first ever Xbox and PlayStation game development in Malaysia. So very familiar with this game area. As all of you are familiar, Metaverse is founded on games. He won a TM, Telecom Malaysia sponsored scholarship to study in US at the Carnegie Mellon University. And those of you are familiar, Carnegie Mellon University is the top 3 world ranking university in computer science. Upon his return to Malaysia, he served in TM during the days where internet was first implemented in Malaysia. He later served in DG, and as that's not enough, he also served in Deloitte's Consulting. He became a director in Pricewaterhouse Consulting, whereby he led transformational project with PNB, Malaysia Airlines, and many other organizations. So tremendous experience in the technical field, in the IT field, in basically transformation work. He kickstarted the first ever, #1 ever large scale, as I mentioned, large scale console game development, secure the rights to the first ever console game engine development platform, and put in place a team of 40 talented Malaysian men and women to complete the game, which was sold to the world on PlayStation, Xbox, and Steam. So help me put it together for a very talented person who is deep into this area, very, very passionate about metaverse. EJ Muhammad Zachary, just call him Zach. Say hi, Zach. All right.
Hi everybody.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
the next person who is going to be kind of doing a duet with him is a person who is my partner in Frack Property. And by the way, Zach is in charge of R&D in our group of company called Frack Prop, of which Prime Meta Prop is one of the division. He is the co-founder of Frack Property and focused in strategy and product development of the company. He has many years experience leading IT ventures, including being a regional director for a US-based IT firm, as well as for an Australian PLC company, and as well as a Malaysian Ministry of Finance-backed IT venture. He's a co-initiator in the GAIN project as well, and is a director in SpeedProp Global, which pioneered the first blockchain for real estate project in Malaysia. So he brings in, together with Zach, tremendous experience in blockchain, in games, in real estate, and in IT development. Put your hands together for Daniel Low. Daniel Low, everybody say hi. Okay, so we're going to start with Zach speaking, and then Daniel will join him later. Go ahead, Zach. The floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, KCC. And hello, everybody. Yes. I have actually a lot of things to cover in 30 minutes. So I hope if I go overboard, somebody would have to stop me. Sorry, but this thing is quite a lot. And I believe that most of us, let me share my screen first. Share screen. Okay, can you guys see my slides?
Yes, we can.
All right. All right, as I said, a lot of ground to cover because in order to really understand the metaverse, we have to go through the basic core concepts of what's been happening in the last 1 and 2 years before, what's going on with the technology that suddenly a lot of jargon came up, you know, Bitcoin, crypto, NFTs, and all that. So I still think that in order to understand the metaverse, we should go through the core concept and then the metaverse, and then we'll share some of the trends for 2002. So those are the things that I think we should cover first. So the beginning, the beginning is blockchain. So this happened about 10 years ago. And if you've heard of blockchain, then you've probably already heard of Bitcoin. So for most people, Bitcoin is the first in this chronology of jargon when we hear about this new technology. And Bitcoin is actually a type of cryptocurrency. So that line that I drew there from blockchain to cryptocurrency, blockchain, I colored it blue because it is the technology. And the first product that's blockchain has spawned is cryptocurrency. So you probably know it as Bitcoin. So now we have a lot of others like Ethereum, we have Litecoin, Dogecoin, Shiba Inu. So there's a lot to consider. And these are all cryptocurrency. And in the last 12 months, a new product came up, which is called NFT. Because from cryptocurrency, there is also something that's called a smart contract that gave birth to a lot of rules that people can put. So it's called NFT. It means for non-fungible tokens. So we have to go through on what is fungible and what is non-fungible after this. So it's a bit dry because we still have to consider all this before we go to the metaverse, because in chronological order, the metaverse is the third product that is spawned by the NFT and goes straight into the virtual world. And that's where we build our real estate property and the buildings. So in order to understand metaverse, we have to understand NFT. In order to understand NFT, we have to understand cryptocurrency. And to understand crypto, we have to understand that technology called the blockchain, which governs everything. So everybody cool with this? So we start with the blockchain, yeah? So let's start with what makes this technology special. First, it's immutable, which means that it cannot be changed. So if on the left side of the diagram there, it's called, if a person A transfer data to a person B, then that record is immutable, which means it cannot be changed. Therefore, if somebody would like to change that record, A to B, somebody want to change it A to C, the technology would not allow that. Why? Because of the second element of blockchain, which is distributed. It's also called decentralized. Decentralized means that the record of A giving the data to B is saved in a lot of servers. It is not in one central server, but in thousands of servers all around the world. So nobody really owns these servers because it's all independent computers that is in people's houses, in office buildings, in telco towers and all that. So it's everywhere. So all these servers in the thousands hold that record of A giving to B. So I'll give you an example of 3 servers. One server, 2 server, and the 3rd server. So let's say somebody change A to B, change to A to C in server 1. So now server 1 has an error. So once that error appears, server 2 will find out. And it looks at server 1 and say, it's different. But server 2 now need to seek a consensus with another server. So server 2 asks server 3, what do you have? Then server 3 will say, I have A and B. And server 2 will say, okay, I have A and B also. So therefore, server 1 is wrong. So now the server will say, because of this consensus, server 1 will have to change A to B. That means the hacker who successfully probably changed server 1 has failed because he did not have time to change the server number 2, server number 3, and server in the thousands. So in that way, blockchain actually made the system trustworthy because there is no human element in this. So trust in code, because computers will always ask all the other computers and they will seek a consensus if somebody change. So in this way, blockchain is a very powerful thing because it has it's almost decentralized in any way that we want. So what's good about it, I'll just skip through this because this very a lot of the technology. Just the benefits. So all that thing means that now we can track A to B or B to C or C to D. It's all accurate. And cost reduction. There's no need for any human or officers to handle all this. So if we're talking about cryptocurrency, there's no need for banks. So there is a cost reduction for this as a currency. And the ledger is permanent, which means it's there forever. And the increased transparency means that anybody can look into the server and see the data in there. So it's all transparent for anybody to see. So even if you have Bitcoin, you can actually track where your Bitcoin comes from and where it has been, who you give it to, and who's the next person you give it to. So everything is quite accurate in the blockchain. So some of the benefits, I have to go through this very fast. Sorry, yeah, because we don't have time and I have a lot of things to cover. And it can transform a lot of things. We already know that it transforms financial services like banking and all that. In the blockchain world, there's also DeFi services. Basically, you can put your Bitcoin into savings and it will collect interest. You get more Bitcoin, just like a bank. It's just that there's nobody controlling the bank. It's just codes. One particular thing that I wanted to give to you is this this real estate thing there on the down left. That real estate is actually what we have been working on for the past year. So this is how Bitcoin operates in our business here in Australia. So in Australia, we work with a company, Red Wealth, and they own a lot of these shopping malls. So in a way that they are like a unit trust company. So they sell pieces of this we help them to fractionalize these shopping malls into small investments. So if you look at all these shopping malls in Australia, like the Yanchep Central or the Karamar Village or Carnarvon Central, you can own a fraction of these shopping complexes for as minimal as Australian dollar 200. So it's quite cheap for people to purchase this fractured ownership. So what the company does is that they then lease the shopping complex to the grocers and the department stores and the big brands like the Tesco and the Carrefour of Australia. So the rental yield will be given back to the fraction owner. So this is an Australian product. So if you need to make a purchase here, you'll need an Australian bank account, because it is a highly regulated industry, but it is allowed by the government of Australia and the Securities Commission that we can actually fracture this into a crypto coin tokens and sell it to Australian people with Australian bank account. So anyway, I just talked about this because we do also have our own currency in this company. It's called FRAC. So just like Bitcoin is a currency, we also have FRAC currency. So this currency can be owned by anybody in the world. So even Malaysians can own this currency, and it ties into the performance of the shopping malls and the businesses here. So if you stick around until the end, then KCC will have some offer on how you can get this FRAC currency in the future. So stick around for this. We'll get some FRACs later. All right, we have to cover fungibles and non-fungibles. Very quickly, fungible is like money. So if you have 10 ringgit, you give it to someone, they give back 10 ringgit to you. Even though the 10 ringgit is different, you still accept it because it is fungible. And you can even accept 5 ringgit plus 5 ringgit, it makes 10 ringgit. So currency is like that. It doesn't matter whether you change hands or you switch it with your friend, a dollar is a dollar. So let's look at the right side. What's non-fungible? Non-fungible, it has to be unique. For example, your IC. So if you give your IC to somebody and you get back somebody else's IC, of course, you wouldn't accept it because it is not your IC. So it's called non-fungible because it is unique to you. So even if you switch IC, you probably would get mad that this happened to you. Houses are like that also. And any digital asset, those are actually digital cats there. So if you have a cat on that left side there versus the other cat, which is half blue and half rainbow, of course you wouldn't accept a digital cat like that. So fungible. A non-fungible now becomes a unique digital item in the world. It's called an NFT. So not like a currency where you can easily exchange it with itself. NFT is quite unique. So this is why NFT can become like a land title to your land if you buy land in the multiverse, because you can track this NFT, and if it belongs to you, then it only belongs to you, and there is proof all around the servers of the blockchain that you have that. Okay, I probably have another 8 minutes. Sorry about this. Okay, the metaverse. All right, really quick. It happened because of Meta, of Facebook changing their name to Meta. This is where the trend started. October 28, 2021, about 4 months ago. Whenever a company this big says something like this, that they're going to change their name to Meta and have a new future going forward, then people take it as a very strong signal that this is where the internet is headed. So basically, this date is actually where we can track the trend of the metaverse starting to explode. But I wouldn't worry about this because the big companies like Facebook, Google, Microsoft, and Apple. They're creating the metaverse for companies, not for normal people or users or gamers. So companies usually will work with Microsoft and all that. So they're basically building it as a special wall garden kind of thing. Basically, you still have to pay to get in, and none of what's available in the metaverse is probably your own property. So they're gonna make it behind a garden wall. You still have to pay. So I would like to just split the metaverse into two. One is blockchain enabled, the other is not blockchain enabled, because the ones that are not blockchain enabled are just games like Fortnite and Roblox, the kind of games that our children play. So these are the non-blockchain part, where it actually doesn't really matter, because whatever you buy in Roblox or Fortnite, even though it says that you buy an asset, it belongs to you, actually there's no way for you to be sure that it belongs to you. Only the blockchain can, with the NFT, can make that claim. So I would just we just focus on the right side of that, which means it's blockchain and decentralized. So in the world there is only two top ones, Decentraland and the Sandbox. So we have to go into that. I'll just show you some of the videos first on the Sandbox and Decentraland, so we can get a feel of this. Okay, let's see if I can get a video.
What if you could own the virtual?
Do you see that?
Yes, can see it.
Okay, I'll just make it bigger. So just get a feel of it.
World. Create, develop, and trade without limits. Make genuine connections and earn real money. Decentraland, a fully immersive platform powered by the blockchain. Buy land. Design your experience. And transform the way people see the world. Purchase the first ever virtual real estate. Get started today.
Okay, that's Decentraland. I'll play another one, which is the Sandbox. All right, so that's hope you can get a feel of the virtual world. Okay, so let's be realistic here. We are talking about games and nothing else actually, because if you are here, then that means you are old enough to be thinking about investing and all that, right? Whereas what we're talking about is a product that is mainly directed to your children, not to you. So me myself is having a little bit of conflict because I'm 46, and some of you are probably in my age group, and some of you probably also 30, maybe in the late 20s. But these are not products that are directly aiming at you. It's for our children. Because when we look at the psychology of children growing up, they spend what, more than 4 hours a day playing games like Roblox, right? Like Ayat's children. So in their psyche, it's already ingrained in their mind that that's where all their friends live. Because in the real world, they probably have about 20 friends. But in this metaverse, in games and like Roblox and Fortnite, they probably have 1,000 friends. So that goes back to the question that Ayat asked us, what is real? Because if real is the experiences that we have where we are more happy, then to our children, real is the metaverse, not the physical world, because that's where they are the most happy. That's where most of their friends are. So it also makes sense that when they grow up, they'll be spending time there, and they'll be spending some of their money on digital assets and not physical assets. So the same way that we buy the license plate, going back to what I had said, right? So we spend so much on a nice number for the license plate, but for what? For what? Can anybody give me a reason why we pay for a very expensive license plate? Can you type on a chat box or something?
Why would
Anybody
people
got,
so much
yeah.
for a license plate?
Why would you pay money for a license plate?
For status, to show off.
Ah, you got it. You got it.
You have a
You know, we all may have different reasons to justify why we do it, right? But the most basic instinct, the most basic human desire is this: we want to show off, and that's all. We want to show off. If the government say you buy this license plate, but you cannot put it on your car, I think no one will pay for this license plate because you cannot put it on your car. But that's how our children think also, because when you are in the digital world, you want to show off. So companies like Adidas and Nike already understood this. So that's why Nike and Adidas is selling shoes, digital shoes, in the metaverse, because they know that when teenagers buy their shoes, they don't really wear these shoes. They buy the 500 sneakers from Nike. They just put it in the house, in the shelf, in the glass shelf, just to show off to their friends. So Nike now says that, okay, since it's all for showing off, then why don't we just make digital shoes? So that it turns out they are right, that children still buy these digital shoes because when you make it an NFT, it becomes unique and you can show off to your friends. So the very basic human element is still in play here. Whether it's the real world or the digital world, companies follow the money. If they know people are willing to pay for this, they'll make that product, even though the product makes no sense to people like me and you. It makes no sense at all. And sometimes, I'm quite angry that this is happening. But that's where the money is, and that's where companies are going. So the land is the same. So Sandbox now is selling 166,000 pieces of land. They call a plot, for anyone to buy it. Companies also, you can see that there's Atari there. There's Adidas is probably somewhere there, and Hong Kong is there. A newspaper is there. The Walking Dead TV series is also there. So they're setting up all sorts of land for people to come and visit. So this is all a game, but they know that it's a game that people still come. When they're done, they'll probably buy a few digital assets and go home happy, to show off to their friends. So in the blockchain, when you make a promise, the blockchain will hold you to that promise. So what Sandbox does is that they made a promise that these lands will only be 160,000 and no more. So it is limited. So the idea of land being scarce and limited is in play here, because they cannot go back and build more lands, because on the blockchain it's already a done deal. So the black parts that you see there are the lands that are not yet been sold. So what do you do when you get into the sandbox? You know, you have an avatar, you dress them up, you buy stuff, things, you know, children play. But this all adds up, you know, 10 ringgit here, 10 ringgit there. Soon, this is going to be a $1 trillion marketplace. You just buy a little bit here, a little bit there, and that's how companies trying to make money out of this. Okay, let's just look at the trends. So why would you buy digital stuff, right? So if you're an investor, you're probably going to look at the asset categories. So this is what's trending right now, that all the usual stuff remains there. So basically, if you have a financial analyst or financial planner, they will say that, you know, you should put all your money, most of your money, in cash, in savings. Maybe buy some stocks, maybe buy some bonds, and a small amount in alternatives. So where does crypto comes in, NFTs and all that? They are in the alternatives. So if you look at the alternatives, it's a whole basket of alternative investment that you can make: real estate, hedge funds, art, gold, and crypto. But the real competitor to crypto is gold, because gold is just as liquid as crypto in terms of how easy that you can buy and sell. So there is an element of competitiveness against gold right now, because a new survey that came out that asked younger people, what is a safe haven to you as an investment, gold or crypto? 67% says that it is crypto. So their mind is already made up that gold is as safe as crypto. So we are looking at a generational change in mindset. So, you know, gold have a direct competitor now. So that's why we think that that this year and the next will be an uptrend for crypto and all sorts. And we will look at also at how many people use blockchain. Around 80 million. We have 7 billion people, so about 1% already onto the blockchain. So there's a lot of room to grow. Just very quickly, the market is going to be 1 trillion in the future, going up by 43% every year. Sandbox is trending very high. So let's take a look. Okay, I'm telling you the truth here, because crypto is a bit volatile. So it's not for the weak-hearted. But if you are a long-term investor, this should be something that you want to look at. The moment that Mark Zuckerberg said about Meta, that's about October 21, and you can see that the land price of Sandbox gone up to USD 17,000, and then it goes back down to around 13,000. So when we did this, is Ayat there?
Ayat?
No.
Yo.
Yeah. When I showed this graph, it was 10,000 last month.
Right.
So now it's up 13,000. So any of your people actually bought anything?
I'm not sure.
Nobody bought anything. They could have made 3,000.
30%.
Yeah, that's okay lah. But this is the volatility that we look at. So you know, to people like me and all that, we don't even look at this short-term volatility, because when we look at the actual truth is that if you look at the January 21, it was $160 USD. Going up to September 21, just before Mark Zuckerberg says about Meta, it's already about 20 times. So we know it's rising, but you know, Zuckerberg just made it, you know, explode like a bubble, which, you know, it's good, I bet, in its own way. But we do know it's trending up. So somewhere along the line, it should balance itself out and still be making its way up. So anyway, Sandbox has 40 million users, and that's why we are going to develop our first Sandbox building in the Sandbox, not in the Decentraland. And also we like Sandbox because it has SoftBank as one of their investors. And as you know, SoftBank is they also finance Grab, one of the success story of Malaysia. So if they believe in Grab and they believe in the Sandbox, we believe in that too. All right, our Meta City. So I think I'll give this back to Daniel so we can show what he has cooked up as our first building in Sandbox. Is Daniel there?
Yep, Daniel.
All right.
Okay, then,
Yes.
all right, then
Hi.
I will stop my sharing.
All right.
Thank you all.
Big hand to Zach for going to the fundamental with us. I'm sure all of you have lots of questions, which we will address in a short while. Zach will be around to answer any of your questions.
Yes.
And now Daniel will go and talk about the city that we are building in Sandbox. Wow.
Right. Thank you, Casey. So I'm just going to take you through very quickly in the next 10 minutes the opportunity to actually pick up or to invest in a building in Metaverse. In the Metaverse that Zach just mentioned, Sandbox, where the land has appreciated in value, I think, more than 100 times in the last 1 year. But the opportunity is still there. So we are offering to you, we're offering this opportunity to invest in a property that is built on top of Sandbox. And what are you getting? You'll be getting a strata title of this piece of property or this piece of building that you get it in the form of NFTs. Meaning to say, when you buy these, and the next minute you can actually pack it on like an OpenSea, which is the world's largest NFT exchange, and then and start trading. All right. So this is what we are discussing today. All right. So this is this building is open for sale on the 19th of March 2022, and this building is built on Sandbox Metaverse, which is one of the most exciting place to be now in a Metaverse. So even in investing in Metaverse, it's still about location, right? So, just like if you want to invest in property, would you want to invest in KL or you want to invest in a more remote area, so and see what will appreciate better. And we have done all our studies and and identify this as one of the most promising Metaverse to be in. All right. And Zach just mentioned, if you have just bought just 3 weeks ago, you have appreciated by 30%. All right. So this building that we are sharing with you here is a 23 stories high building featuring garden in the sky. There are 5 stories of a beautiful garden up in the sky and 18 levels of commercial space for next generation retail concept studios, entrepreneurs who want to be featured or to want to have a store in this Web3 space. All right. And I'll explain to you why you want to get into a Web3, right? So also, I mean, you also know, now if you want to invest in a shopping mall, where would you want to invest? Would you like to have a piece of Mid Valley or Pavilion? Because these are the mall that bring lots of crowds. All right. So what are we doing here that is going to bring crowds from all over the world? So I'll be sharing with you. So we mentioned earlier about the garden in the sky. So with the garden in the sky, that allows us to create a really beautiful space, creating some of the most beautiful garden ever you can see for all sorts of events, whether it is wedding or wedding gathering. So people who log in as avatar can play a game or wedding, can or even, quite recently, someone in India ran one of his first avatar or metaverse wedding, because in real life, because of the quarantine, he can only invite like 100 people to his real wedding. but he has few thousand other friends all over the world who want to send greeting to them. They want to get together. So how could they do that? All right. So here we are offering a great space for anyone to organize your wedding, your events, meet new friends, right? Or new dates. Oh, I mean, that's another story. One lady, I think she's about 70 plus, in the real world, she still have a husband in the real world, but in the avatar, she has remarried with another avatar, and she said it's a great escape for her, right? So this world is built with for spaces for all generations throughout the world, for every culture, whether it is a European culture, for a Middle Eastern wedding, a Malay wedding, or a Malaysian style wedding, or a very Indian style wedding. So we have it all, and you can imagine when we are building this space for all cultures in the world, you know how much space is needed, and what's the opportunity here, where everybody can come into the event and creating the viral effect. When they come into the event, they will be inviting their friends to this building, and that will pull in lots of crowds for the 18th floor of the retail space that I just talked to you. So entrepreneurs can first take out a space here and rent it out to, or investors can take out the space in the retail floors and rent it out to others, or you can even open up your store, all right? All right, and of course, you can have all sorts of funds here. You can have gatherings. We are creating all this space throughout our 23 floors of space, all right? And make the world happier together, right? So the other thing is, then what are the business opportunities, when the crowds are in? So as you can see now, on the NFT world, on OpenSea, you see Gucci are selling their bags. You see Nike selling their bags. By the way, Gucci is opening up in the sandbox in a very near future. All right, Nike is expecting that in the future, 10% of their sales could be coming from digital sale. And that means and that will bring lots of profit to them. So now with all those brands coming out with various NFTs. We could be reseller for the NFT. You could be, or you could design your own, right? And make use of this Web3 to run this social shopping. So in this case, so what happened in the real world is now if you go shopping in Shopee, you probably shop alone. It's convenient, yes, but what about the social aspect? Can you go together with a friend and check out a bag? Just like here, this avatar could be walking in wanting to buy a NFT bag for Zachary's, and the friend may say, yeah, it's really cool, right? But I don't have the cash yet, but can I pay to you in Ether later on, all right? So things can happen. So you can imagine lots of possibilities, and why people like Meta or Facebook are really jumping into this, all right? And our mall, so it is built with to support this next gen social retail concept. And some of our advisors, we have lots of advisors in Europe now and a region, including retail experts from LVMH Group, the Louis Vuitton Group, who's the largest luxury brand in the entire world, right? And you have Coty and so on, right? So at the back of this, when we launch this, you will be seeing very, very exciting retail concept. You will be seeing very exciting attractions that pull crowd in, where you can just come in and take photo anytime. Today, if someone sends you a really nice photo and you want to be in it, what you do is you probably have to take a one of these editing or graphics tool to cut and paste yourself, right? Now, in the avatar, all these happen. Just walk in, take photo with your friends, have fun, imagine the possibilities, right? And we are one of the first to be in this space for this region, at least, right? So the opportunity here is we're open for sale 19th of March 2022 to 80 million crypto wallet holders globally. However, for those of you who are here, we are also opening up 80 units at our level 8 and the level 9 of our building for a pre-launch registration that Casey will explain further. All right, Casey, back to you.
Very good, very exciting. I'm so excited about this. You know, when Daniel told me that we have to engage a real architect to start drawing things, we also connected with retail experts from LB. I mean, while we are doing this on a virtual world, we are also having to work with people from the real world, you know. And the most amazing thing is these architects are coming in to set up the whole space and do that, and also the retail experts are coming in to share. Now, Daniel, there's a couple of questions that maybe we should answer first.
Right. Casey, can you help read out what are the questions?
Hi, so thank you for telling me that my video is not on. Thank you very much, Ayat, for reminding me. So very exciting, and as I mentioned, that this thing is happening so fast that, you know, we just have to run with it, and it has been since the first one we did about a month ago, less than a month ago. As we can hear from Zach, the property has went up by 30%. We in the last 3-4 weeks took up a piece, started conceptualizing the land, coming up with the idea and plans, talking to architects and so on and so forth, like a real world, you know, but it's built on a virtual world. Now, there are some questions that is asked that I believe we should answer first to become clearer. Diane asks, in a property, say a shop, let's say in our place, Sparkle, can you do business in that shop, like sell clothes for avatars, for real people as linked to e-commerce? Daniel?
The answer is yes.
Of course.
Yeah, so you can set up your display store, you can set up your wallet, so people like, you know, what they see in the in your shop, and they can purchase from you. So there are still some technical setup that needs to be done. So the answer is yes, and we can work with you to get it set up. All right.
And the next question is, does owning a piece of property also incur overheads like utility, maintenance? Do I buy mine to use as I please, or sell? I can buy a unit, and then I can use it for my own purpose, or I can rent it out, or I can sell it. Answer is of course yes, but you want to elaborate, Daniel?
Right. The answer is yes, but you don't have to pay electricity bill and so on, because you're all running on the same box, right? So none of that. However, it is quite usual that when you sell your strata title, there will be some fee charged by the property maintenance group. Like, we'll be maintaining this property for the long term, so we'll be getting some income from you when you sell to a new buyer, and there will be a small fee charged.
Not in maintenance of that place, lah. There's no maintenance required.
Yes, I say. In short, Casey, yeah, no maintenance, right? That
answers some questions. There are other questions involved, which I think will be answered later. So, Aaron, I know you have a question on paperwork and so forth, but we will not dwell with that. But right now, as Daniel mentioned, this is in construction. We have the floor plan done up, but we are not selling it today. We don't have it available today. It will be launched on the 19th of March. And what we are targeting is the fact that this is global, this is online, and we expect 80 million. We have 80 million people to market this to, because there are 80 million people holding crypto wallets. And because this is started in this region, you guys coming here, a few hundreds of you here today, are the first to hear about this. And I want to assure you, in this whole region, we are the first to actually go into this area and have gone so far in terms of technology, as well as in terms of the sophistication of what we have done so far. Now, a lot of people are doing NFTs on art pieces, on photographs, and so forth, which is great, you know. But they all need a place to show it, a place to trade, a place to transact. So we built this place called the Sparkle to provide that. Now I'm going to go into my PowerPoint to give you a bit of what to do if you are something that you find interesting and you think that this is something you want to do. I'm going to give you a little bit of a short understanding. And then after that, we'll go into a very important part, which is a question that some of you ask, is it legal? I mean, do I have a land title or not? So we have Elizabeth, which is a very well-known lawyer in the area of technology. He's a tech, what they call legal tech. So she will be sharing that in a short while. But meanwhile, can I have screen, please? Okay, very good. All right. So the question we ask is, how would you participate? Can my screen be seen?
Yes.
For one, can my screen be seen?
Yes.
All right, good. Now, the company, the vision of a company that we're doing this is called Prime Metaprop, stands for Prime Metaverse Property, yeah? And we only do one thing, and that is we do Metaverse for real estate. We are not into the other areas, only in real estate for Metaverse. So how do you participate in the development of the Sparkle? Well, how do you get a piece of the Sparkle? This is the whole piece of property, 20 over floors, and 2 floors are immediately going to be launched on the 19th, which is about 3 weeks away. And the units available is 80 units. And the price per lot is only $1,600 US per lot, which is about 100 square feet, like real world, like that. And then as of now, we only need to accept indication of interest. We're not taking any sales right now. We want to get you to tell me, yes, I'm interested to explore this. That's fine. Now, launch date is March 19. As of today, pre-launch, it will be available to you and only to this group. And you are the first to hear about this in the world at 1188, because I'm Chinese. So 1188 per lot. But this price will go back to the normal price on the 19th. But this is a pre-launch of some kind. Although we still don't accept money at all, don't pay us anything, just indicate interest. This is a QR code by the side. You should all take out your phone now, even if you're not interested, but at least take out your phone now and scan this into your phone, and you will have a form that you can register interest. No obligation at all. If you put interest right now, later you don't do anything, that's fine with us. But just let us know you have interest to explore this. Maybe you may want to show it to somebody else. But what you do get is an advantage in the sense that your price is only 1188 compared with the normal official price of 1,006. And on top of that, whoever download this indication of interest, because we know the time. So like right now it's probably about 10 o'clock, no, 9:45. So whoever register the interest first get to choose the lot first. So let's say you register now, you're the first. So when they finally on the 19th, when we launch, the first person to show interest first and eventually decide to take up one lot will be the first to choose which lot you want on this level 9 and level 8, level 8 and level 9. So if you have an interest, I suggest you just tentatively, no obligation, no requirement. You can go and just scan this QR code in, and then you can get to have the ability to address this. In the meantime, while you're doing that, I will just take a few questions first before I invite Elizabeth to talk about the legal aspects of things. Daniel and Zach, take note. Next question coming up. Why does proximity of plots matters in a metaverse? I think, Zach, you can address this. Why does proximity of plot matters in metaverse if you just transport from place to place? Daniel, Zaki?
Okay, I'll try to answer this. There are 2 ways that this matters. In Sandbox, it's just a navigation trick of Sandbox. So basically, if you are new to Sandbox, the first places that you want to go to is probably the big brands like the Smurf or the Adidas or the Walking Dead. So that means if you are hovering on the map of the Walking Dead, you might also notice that the Walking Dead have some neighbors right next to them. So these neighbors are probably the smaller brands or maybe just a person. So those lands are actually more valuable when you are closer to the big brands, because people might stumble on your land, even though you didn't promote your land. So that's why most times that the land closer to the big brands are more expensive than the lands that are not. That's my answer.
Anything you want to add, Daniel?
No, I think Zach got it answered very well on that. Yeah.
All right. So you want to be near to those big brands because people go to the big brands, and obviously near location will of course add value to what you have. You'll be very surprised who has bought land in Sandbox, and maybe Daniel can give some examples later on. Now, we won't answer question on frac prop yet, Elson. We will talk about that later. Who owns connectivity to blockchain? I'm not sure if I understand the question. Maybe you can, Zach.
Nobody
owns connectivity.
Yeah. So this is quite technical, but in truth, nobody owns it, and everybody owns it. So it's quite a democracy in a way that if you have a PC hooked up to the internet, your PC can run some of the blockchain network like Bitcoin or Ethereum, and you are independent. So if you're running a server, a small server, blockchain, Bitcoin will release a few coins for you. They call it mining. So these are all the people, the individuals all around the world that are mining Bitcoins are actually providing the network for this cryptocurrency. So they themselves created this network. It is not controlled by anybody.
So Zach, isn't it the same question as asking who owns the internet?
Yeah, the same like that. Who owns the internet? Correct.
Yeah.
But there's a difference here, because we can answer that depending on who we know, right? Because we can say that Amazon controls the internet, or Google, because they have huge servers that runs all across the world. So if if Amazon says, okay, I'm out of the internet business, maybe 50% of the internet of the world is going down. So it is still centralized by a few billionaires. So that's why decentralized is a much better option for humanity, in a way that no one actually controls this.
Okay, so I know it's a bit challenging for you to understand that. You're me, and you asked this question: am I buying into a fantasy world? Well, I won't suggest you to think of it this way. Now think about it this way. Microsoft paid 69 billion. Am I right, Zed? 69 billion, right?
Yeah.
To get into this world. Microsoft is not a stupid company. They are not buying into fantasy. They know that there is huge opportunity here. And recently, JP Morgan say that this world is going to be a $1 trillion world. Am I right? Something like that. You can see the newspaper clipping.
I can see brands like Nike as well, but spend 100 million buy over a company to
100 million to go into this world. So if you want to call, well, you can say it's a fantasy world, but people are putting money into this, yeah. And today at 5 o'clock, there's another program on Metaverse, and the title of that is Metaverse: The Ultimate Next World, or something like that. And this particular event at 5 o'clock today was promoted by Citibank. So all these are huge company, reputable company who realize that this is where the future is. All right. Ahmad asked how to buy. Not today. You just have to show interest. We can only start making it available on 19th of March, which will let you know. But you can place your interest now. No obligation at all. Yeah. Now, some people say they can't get the form. Now you can. If you go to the chat box right now, you can see that there is a link for you to go into. You scroll down, there is a interest form that you can get into. Now, Aaron asked about white paper. I will answer that later after Elizabeth talked about the legality. You have to hire a consultant to do the interior. How much do you have to pay? Well, you don't have to hire a consultant to do interior. Just go to the OpenSea and buy things and just put inside. Am I right to say, Zaki?
Yeah, you can do that. It's a totally democratic marketplace. So if it's on sale, then of course you can buy it. If it's an NFT, that means that only you own that piece of item. So, but if you want to get artists to design something for you, you can also do that. There are many all around the freelance website. So there are many artists and designers that can do that for you.
Now, there are more questions coming on, and we especially have a session to deal with questions. As of now, because I'm just showing the QR code right now, so you may, all of you, if you haven't taken a scan of the QR code, I suggest you do so, because we're going to move away from this. And we're going to be talking about legalities, law in relation to property in Metaverse, and so that I don't have to come back and do this again. So you may want to just cut the phone and scan it in, all right? So in the meantime, I'm going to invite the next person to talk to you about legal implications of property in Metaverse. The person that I'm going to invite is the co-founder of the PropTech Association Malaysia. She is the voice for property technology and legal technology in the region. Is one of those few female technopreneurs in Asia, and is very active in various technology scene in the region. He co-founded the first end-to-end real estate legal technology company in Malaysia and Singapore, Lepro System Berhad, and he now extends his reach to Thailand, Vietnam, Hong Kong, and many other ASEAN countries. He started as a real estate and conveyancing lawyer many years ago. During the last property bull run, he was one of the top investors lawyer in the country. He spoke on the topic of property law, real estate, legal, as well as creative investment legalities. In recent years, she has expanded the practice to technology, particularly in the area of real estate and legal technology development advisory. As mentioned, he's the founding member of Malaysia PropTech Association, has written 2 best-selling books. First one is called Smart Property Investor Know the Law. The second one is Smart Property Investor Know the Law in Creative Investment. He believes that the industry is moving towards new technology, which we are all talking about, whereby the question of real or not real is a question mark, as explained by Ayat Ishak. Today's passion and vision is to merge technology with real estate and legal, utilizing artificial intelligence, machine learning, blockchain, smart contract, legal tech, and metaverse costs, to achieve seamless property ownership and home living across Asia. So can you put your hands together for Elizabeth Siu? Elizabeth, you can take over.
Thank you.
Now.
Thank you, Casey. Thank you for a very generous and elaborated introduction. All right. Yeah. Okay. Well, can I share screen?
Go ahead.
Let me try. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay, now well, firstly, I'm here to only prompt all of you to start thinking about some legal aspects. I'm not here to give you all the answers. I think no one has all the answers yet. But we are starting to think of the legal aspect, the regulatory issues surrounding real estate in Metaverse now. As you know, everyone started to talk about Metaverse when Facebook changed their name to Meta, all right? And all of a sudden, all of us are like into Metaverse, and of course, NFT is a very, very hot topic. Okay, now, basically, all of us we came from the brick and mortar business, which is real estate, all right? And for myself, it was real estate legal practice 20 over years ago. And that was when we were really looking at fundamental of investing in real estate. And from there, I also ventured into property technology, which is how to use technology, for any property related matters, meaning in the processes and so on. And then came blockchain. And with blockchain, we start to look into how blockchain can benefit property ownership and proof of ownership, especially in terms of title deeds and so on. And now from blockchain, the technology has been further used by because it is immutable. So NFT becomes something that can be used, for property, using the baseline technology of blockchain. But with Metaverse, it is again, an extension of the technology. All right, and now we see that even fashion is in Metaverse. We start to think, how come, like Adidas and Nike, they are creating virtual shoes and sportswear for you to wear in the Metaverse, right? And museum as well. See, like Ant Finance under the Alibaba Group in China, they've gone into the Metaverse museum as well. All right, and of course, what is close to our heart is always real estate. Now, real estate in Metaverse has been one of the hottest topic recently. As you can see, all this news that is happening in Decentraland as well as in Sandbox. But what is interesting is, when we are talking about real estate in Metaverse and compared to real world real estate, in real world real estate, we always talk about what? Location, location, and location, right? And we see exactly the same thing happening in Metaverse. Why? You see, in Sandbox recently, Decentraland, a piece of virtual land in Decentraland was transacted at 2.4 million USD because it was at the Fashion Street. So what does that tell you? Again, location, location, location. Remember Ayat, when he first started the webinar this morning, he was talking about footfall. Because in the virtual world, if you have actually visited a virtual expo, for example, you enter the virtual expo, you will see your the what they call it, the expo, the pavilion and so on, and you get to see who are the neighbors, right? It's actually like the real world, okay, but virtually like the real world. Therefore, footfall is important. Who are your neighbors is important. So back to all the fundamental that Ayat has been teaching all of us: location, 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 right? Therefore, the value is there, and of course, scarcity, right? Now, this is also another question that Ayat asked earlier on: is Metaverse real estate real or not? All right. I also actually saw a chat by somebody to say that I cannot comprehend something that I cannot feel and touch. So we always think of real estate as something that we can see and touch. But, okay, now in Metaverse, when you look at the new technology that is available in the hardware, the infrastructure that is available for virtual, you have things like the entire suits called Tesla suit, okay, that you can wear. And you can wear gloves that with all the sensors and all that you can actually sense it, all right? When you wear the suit and you go into Metaverse, say you are climbing Mount Everest, you can actually feel the change in temperature, for example. You can feel the coldness of it, all right? If you are holding something in Metaverse, you can actually feel when you're holding a feather, the weight is different compared to you holding for example, a coconut, all right? So all these are becoming real, all right? So, but of course, the affordability of all these gadget is still not at a very affordable price. But just like mobile phone, when it was first introduced, how many of us can afford a mobile phone? But today, what is the percentage of mobile phone user in the whole world, right? So it takes time for the tipping point to happen, right? Where everyone can get access to the Metaverse world. Now, but I'm here to look at some of the legal aspect of owning real estate in Metaverse, okay? In this world, in this dimension. Probably some of the questions that come to our mind is that, if I want to buy a piece of property, right? Like what Daniel was talking just now, a strata property in Metaverse, do I sign an SMP to buy that virtual property? All right. And after I sign that S&P, do I get a copy of the S&P for safekeeping, just like in the real world, All right. Now, in blockchain transactions, the agreement that we use are what we call smart contract. All right. So it is something that is like an electronic digital contract, where it is like what do you call that? A set of computer codes, okay, that has all the terms and conditions, and it self-execute by itself, okay, right? Once you input all the terms and conditions, it will just execute by itself, all right? So that is the fundamental of smart contract. But what we do is with Sparkle, with the entire project, is to also look at some hybrid model, meaning that understanding most of the property buyers, they need to see something, right, tangible. So while a smart contract is something that is in the system, self-execute, you may want to also have like a digital copy whereby you can see from your screen. So we foresee that ultimately a hybrid model of agreement is something that could be happening, right? But anyway, now for smart contract to execute and to enforce, the international arbitration body, there have been actually trial cases, successful trial cases happening, over the last couple of years, All right. Now, next is, you would definitely ask me how to prove your ownership, right? So that is where the blockchain strata title comes into the picture. That's where NFT comes into the picture. Like when you buy a piece of a property in Sandbox or in Decentraland, you get your NFT. And from the NFT, you are able to look at the metadata behind it and the transactions, because it's all recorded on blockchain. So that's where the transparency and the immutability happens, that you can refer to prove the authenticity of the title and ownership, okay? And now next question is the usage of the property. Because it's in virtual, how do I use? In fact, I saw a question just now from the chat board. Okay, how do I use a property? Can I rent it out, collect rental? Okay, how do I rent it? Right, this is a question that I think Daniel also addressed just now, that you can own a piece of the for example, Sparkle, and you can actually rent it out to people for wedding and so on. Okay, in that virtual world. All right, and of course you collect rental. All right. Okay. Next question is okay, the next question will be like on strata title, because why? This is exactly like the real world development. When you see a mixed development like Sparkles, you see a several block of buildings being built on a master title, and whatever that is built on top of the master title, eventually, are you going to receive strata title for your property? Okay, will the developer be overselling? For example, on top of the virtual master title, can the developer build and build and build and build, and sell so many times and multiple times? The answer is no, because that was the first answer, the first question I asked Daniel. Okay, and in Decentraland, in Sandbox, okay, there are actually rules and regulations. There are actually building guidelines, just like the real world. There's like plot ratio. Okay, it is strange because to us it's, hey, in virtual world I can build anything, and as many square meter as I want to. Apparently you cannot. Okay, there's restriction, there's building rules and regulations that we have to follow. So in Sandbox, maximum 25 story, and I think that is a buildable area. There's a maximum buildable area, and there's green area, reserve area, and so on. So therefore, the element of scarcity still applies. Okay. And now next question is, how do I sell this in the secondary market? All right, can I transfer title to them? This is where Daniel did mention just now. When you have your strata title in an NFT form, you can sell it in OpenSea, in the open market. Okay, and how do you transfer title? It's actually e-wallet. It's actually crypto wallet. You transfer your NFT to them. Okay, wallet to wallet. right? Now, but of course, this is the first, these are some of the first questions, the fundamental questions that we ask ourselves, and it seems like we have an answer. Unfortunately, if we go further, okay, now, of course, the fundamental question is that, could a metaverse real estate ownership mimic, real life real estate? Okay. I just want to quote you an example of this. If you go to Google, you'll find that recently there was actually an actual house in Florida that is being auctioned off as NFT. Okay, so okay, now to be honest with you, when I saw this in our chat group, actually my response to that is it's rubbish. All right, and they all ask me, like Casey and all, they ask me, why did I say it's rubbish? Because if you understand it properly, real estate is still real, all right? Now, the blockchain is being used, immutability, with its immutability, to create a token by the owner, to say that now I have this house, I create this token, and in this token, you can check ownership, title number, blah, 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 and so on, all right? Now, and then he gives this token to you. But in the real world, there's still a land registry, all right? There's still land title. So unless your actual real world land registry recognize this NFT, it is separated. It is totally two different things. So eventually, you still need your land title to prove your real world ownership. Your token is your token, okay? So it's a nice thing to receive, to say, oh, I have an NFT, for this house, okay? But it is a standalone thing, all right? It's not connected via blockchain to the government registry, all right? So that's why, even though a lot of people will be like telling us that, oh, it is on blockchain, it's immutable. Yes, only this particular one is not connected to the real world, all right? It is decentralized, meaning that nobody can come in to have a hand, to meddle with my NFT. It's actually coded by smart contract. But again, it is a standalone thing, all right? Just this house, okay? So like in my case, I have like properties that I can now sell with this so-called marketing strategy to say, oh, now I have my house, I sell you with NFT, but it's only one in Malaysia. Okay, right. So the deeper questions that we really need to ask is, how do we check ownership of an NFT? All right, that is like cybersecurity. Whatever we see it in the front end, how do I verify the back end of it? Okay, so there are 7 matters here. Of course, all these like, checking the metadata, and there could be NFT verification services in the future, okay? Or there could be some digital certification body to authenticate or to certify. Just like in the real world, you have like when you want to certify a diamond, you have certain body. When you look at the certificate of the diamond, you can actually trace it to know whether how genuine in this is this diamond, example. All right, so therefore what we foresee is that it's going to be like a decentralized world connected to a centralized body, okay, for verification purposes, for authentication, for certification purposes. So ultimately, what I foresee is going to be like hybrid kind of thing. Okay, so of course, today I'm unable to give you all the answers, but as you know, Casey did mention in March there will be a 2-day conference. We have more time to explore all this aspect of the law, and what will be the potential solutions to it. Okay, but as a parting note, what I want to prompt everyone to start thinking about is real estate ownership in the metaverse, in the virtual world, and the governance and jurisdiction, okay, that we are subject ourselves to. Okay, so once again, I only have this 10 minutes, all right? So it's good that now I prompt everyone to start thinking about it. So you have like 2 weeks time to do your research before you come back for your conference. And probably, you know, we will have a more fruitful Q&A during our March conference session, right? So yeah, that's it for today.